I am Heather Briggs of My So Quilty Life. Welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we're talking all about month 4 block 7. I cannot believe we're already in month 4 of the Flower Shop block of the month. This has been such an incredibly fun experience and I'm having such a blast working through the months with you and making my blocks. So in this video it is going to be a little different than my traditional tutorials. It's more of a block walkthrough, meaning I've made much of the block. I haven't put it together yet, but I've made much of the block so that we can walk through each of the steps in the pattern with everything kind of assembled so you get an idea of the bigger picture. And we've already done several of the techniques in all of the blocks now, and so you should have no problem. But first I just wanted to show you really quick the quilt because I have it back. I have her back. Okay, everything's good in our house because we have her back. Okay, so today I won't show you the whole quilt, but today we are making in month 4 blocks 7 and 8, but in this video block 7 is just this top of the door with the sign that says welcome to the flower shop right here in the top of the door. Now this block does have your hand embroidery, or you can use the pre-printed panel or really put anything you want in that space. I use the pre-printed panel for my quilt that I'm making for these videos, so you will see that here. So are you ready to go ahead and get started? I am. So I'm going to head to the top camera and we will get this block made. Okay, so you will need your month 4 block pattern. This is for block 7 and 8. In this block through, we are going to be making block 7, which is this adorable welcome to the flower shop sign right there, right in the middle of the door, just welcoming you in. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to show you kind of what I already have pieced together. Again, I decided to go ahead and piece most of these steps just because these steps are what we've already done in several other blocks, but I still am going to walk you through each step by step, and I'll show you on my units. And I didn't want to put all my blocks together just yet because I didn't want it to be a lot going on when I'm trying to talk about it. Okay, so I'm going to open it up, and you guys know on step 1 it's always draw a diagonal line on the back of your squares. I don't do that. I use diagonal seam tape, so I'm going to move on to step 2. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside just so that we don't have to look and get distracted by their cuteness. Just kidding. Okay, so let's just break it down simply here. I know there's a lot going on, but I'm going to go step by step, show you where things need to meet up, show you some tips and tricks, or more, talk about those tips and tricks that can help you have more success. Okay, so for step 2 in our patterns, you are making this unit here. So this flower right here is made up of 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just act like this isn't here. We're concentrating on this. And all you're doing is assembling 1 fabric tee, which is this yellow right here for the center, and 3 fabric R's, which are these white squares right here, and 1 fabric S. Now, you're going to be making 2 different types of units, and this is so that all those little seams can nest. I don't know if you've ever made one of these, but if you are following along with Flower Shop, we have made this block, this unit before, this flower unit. So this won't come as a surprise, but we have a lot to match up here. If you're looking at that, we've got this one, the middle, that one, and all through. So what you're going to do is you're going to make an S1 and an S2 unit. You're going to make 2 of each. Now, the only difference is 2 of your units you're pressing towards fabric R and T, and 2 of your units you're pressing towards fabric S. If you can see that right here, I have them pressed in different directions. That is so when you move on to step 3, which is assembling those, you can nest those seams, and that just helps with the construction and assembly of this block. Okay, so moving on to step 3, you're just assembling your 2 S1s and your 2 S2s, and you are pressing open. That's just to eliminate all that bulk that could be there. So for step 4, we are moving on to all the leaves. So these little leaves right here, 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 and here. I know it's probably a little confusing seeing them all together like this, but all we're going to do is make 3 LW units and 1 RW. And what that means is L is left, R is right. So we're making 3 of these. They should look like this. All you're doing is putting 2 fabric O squares on the top right corner and bottom left corner, assembling on your diagonal line and pressing out for the LW. Now, this is a right W. Do you see how they are opposite of each other? So you've got your O fabric square, the top left, and O bottom right there. So you're making one of those and 1, 2, 3 of these. I'll show you what this one looks like just so you can see. So see how it's the same. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and this one is the other one. So simple, we have done that throughout this entire block of the month. We have done just that with making those little leaf units here, which we're calling LW and RW. So for the next step is step 5. Let me set these guys to the side. So for step 5, you do need your flower unit, which is this unit right here. You need one of your LWs. Remember, you made 3. You need one of them here. You also need fabric P, Q, N, and C. I probably should have said that in order, but that's how I'm looking in the order of the diagram. So what you're going to do first, you know now, you most likely know that when I have a black arrow, that is the pressing direction. But when I have a black arrow with a number, that's your pressing order and assembly order. Because you have to press after you assemble before you can assemble the next piece, so it just makes sense to add that arrow with a number. So if you look at your diagram, your first step, so it's almost like little steps in the step 5. So your first step is taking this flower unit and your fabric Q rectangle right here, and you're going to assemble those two together right here, this one and this one, and pressing towards fabric Q. After that, you will then take what you did there and assemble your fabric P to the right and press. Your next step is to assemble one of your LW with your N and press. Then you can assemble all of that together. So you'll assemble this top unit to this and then fabric C to this. Here we have our flower unit. Easy peasy, right guys? Okay, so we're moving quick here. So moving on to step 6, we are doing similar. We're just assembling all of our little leaves, and here we got a stem. So here we need one RW, remember that was opposite, we just have one, and one LW. We also need fabric J, X, F, and M. And following these instructions, you're just assembling these two pieces to your RW. You're assembling your fabric M to your LW. You're assembling your fabric X, which is this stem here, to this top portion. Then you're assembling right here these portions together for your left stem unit. So easy, right? That is so easy. Once you get these little units all done, the little leaves and the flowers, this block goes together super quickly. Okay, so moving on to step 7, and this is kind of where I left off on this. We need to assemble this here. So we need one fabric D, one fabric E rectangle. We need our flower unit, our left stem unit. And what we're going to do here, just like the diagram, we are assembling these two together here in pressing. Then we are assembling our fabric E in pressing, and then assembling our fabric D. I will do that at the end. I will keep moving on until I can't move on anymore to show you, but I just wanted to show you these apart so that it wasn't confusing, because there is a lot of little units in this. So once you have assembled that, you will have your left unit. Okay, so I am going to set these aside because now we need to go over step 8. Okay, so for step 8, we have our last LW. We have our fabric Y little stem here, our fabric K rectangle, I, and B. For this, again, just following those arrows with the numbers, we are assembling these two pieces, then assembling those together, and then finally assembling our fabric D to the bottom. And that's all you got here with the right stem unit. Easy peasy. So now we're gonna move on to step 9. And for step 9 and beyond is probably going to be where you struggle, if you do struggle the most. So I know this is a lot to look at here, but here we have what we are going to be making from step 9 to the end of the pattern. So what we're going to be doing for step 9 right here, we're going to be making 12 U units and 2 V units. Okay, so I'm going to point those out. You got 2 V units right here, just 2. The rest of these units throughout are your U units. There should be 12. Now, the difference is these are smaller and you're only sewing the 1 little corner square. The rest have 2 corner squares, as you can see here. So what you're going to be doing in step 9 is just assembling those little fabric R's, so these little fabric R squares, to 1, so 2 of those to 1 fabric U rectangle. Again, you're going to have 12 of those and you're going to have 2, so you're going to take 1 fabric R, and in the pattern it's actually showing it like this, so you're going to assemble that to the top left, but it actually doesn't matter because unless you're using directional fabric, which we're not in this pattern, if you are, just pay close attention. You might want to orient it this way so that you can have your directional fabric correct. Now, one thing you have to pay attention to with this is you are pressing your R squares in different directions. So I have you pressing the left R square out and the right R square in. That is so those nest right there perfectly every time you line those up. Right here, just everywhere. You want those as much as possible to align. Okay, so now we're going to move on to step 10. This is where it can get a little complicated. So, and it's not hard, it's just paying attention to which units go where. So for step 10, you just need 2 fabric L squares. These are these squares right here. And 4 U units, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're just assembling them all together. You're pressing open right here just so you can eliminate that bulk, but then you're pressing in towards fabric, in towards your U units right there. So that's your sign top. This goes on the top. It is called sign top unit. Okay, well, let me move this up just a bit. And now we're going to move on to sign bottom unit, which is this one. This one you might struggle with just a bit because there's a lot going on here. So what you need are your 2 fabric Z's. Those are these green stems right here. The next thing you need are 2 U units and 2 of your V units. So just follow those directions closely. You're going to assemble your V unit to a stem, your V unit to a stem. You're going to assemble all of this together here and then attach and assemble your fabric L squares. Now, you want to make sure that you are measuring in between each time you sew. I know the pattern does not give for every unit when you sew another unit together, but you know what those should measure based on what it measured in the pattern. So just pay close attention when you are trimming because you can get a little off here. Okay, so for step 12, we're almost done here. Step 12 is just making these side units here. And just like before, we're just assembling those together, those U units, and you have 3. Just the 3 units is all you need. You're making 2 of them. Now, here we are almost to where I'm at, step 13. You are assembling your side units, that's a tongue twister, to the side of your unit. Again, I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I am using the Flower Shop panel, but if you are hand embroidering, you will need to do that prior to assembling your block. Okay, and then so you'll assemble those 2 to the sides, so 1 and 2. Then you'll assemble the top and the bottom, 1 and 2 here. It's for your sign unit. So right here, you should just have this unit right here. Okay, so now for step 14, this is exactly where I left off. You are assembling your fabric G rectangles to the sides of your side unit and then coming and assembling your fabric H rectangle to the top to make your sign unit. Okay, so you have one more step to do, even though I have to sew a couple things here. But your last step, and I'm going to do all of this at the machine, and then when I come back, my block will be finished. But your last step is to just assemble this. So you just have to pretend with me here for a moment that this is all assembled right here. Okay, so your first step is to assemble all of this right here to this, okay? And once you have assembled this to this and pressed, then you're gonna assemble this sign unit to the top. Now, you wanna pay close attention to things lining up here. So I had you press in opposite direction. So first of all, you want to make sure that this stem aligns with this stem when you sew it there. And if these two were assembled, you'd want to also make sure those were lining there. As well as these ones, you're going to want to make sure that this right here nests perfectly with there, and then when you assemble this, that it nests perfectly there. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble my entire block, and when I come back, my block will be finished, and we will wrap this up. Okay, I just finished my block 7, and here it is. It looks so good. I'm so happy with it. Oh my goodness. I love this part of the quilt. It's like where the door is. So adorable. These vines coming off the welcome sign. Oh my goodness. So I hope you're having such a wonderful time sewing along with this block of the month. I know I've had a lot of fun seeing all of your blocks, and you guys are doing such a wonderful job. Don't forget to share your blocks on social media and tag me. So you use our special hashtag Flower Shop BOM, and then tag me at My Sew Quilty Life, either on Facebook, Instagram, and don't forget to join our My Sew Quilty Life Quilty community group, where you can get extra personalized love in our group from all of our other members. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have so much fun making block 7, and I'll be back with another block walkthrough for block 8. See you later. Bye guys.